identify if there is a bias in media. So we need to analyze the sentence or kanang mga language na ilang gigamit if kanang wala pa sorry kanang para mabalaan nato kung unsa jud ang buot pasabot if wala pa kanang harassment nga nahitabo. Next is check for diverse sources. Is the story based on a variety of perspectives or just it rely on a single viewpoint? So again, so we need to search the source if ang source is kanang tinuod ba jud siya. So compare different outlets. Look at how different media outlets cover the same event, but this discrepancies in how the facts are presented or emphasized. And thus evaluate omissions. What are information is missing from the story are the important the counter arguments or perspective live out. So we need to analyze the story to wala ba yung mga kinang mga kulang-kulang or gidungagan na para nga mabuo lang ang story tapos magka-cause of misunderstanding. So that's how you detect bias in media. Thank you.
So, good morning, class.
Good morning, ma'am.
So, I will be discussing the different types of text. Together with me is Mr. Halandoni. We will be discussing the directive and expository, while I will be discussing the narrative and descriptive. Okay, so narrative. Kindly read.
Narrative relates the real world events, either fictional or non-fictional.
So narrative, it tells a story or describe a real life event. This can be fictional. What is fictional?
Not true.
Yes, like stories or
Epic.
novels.
Epic.
Yes, very good. While not fictional,
Real life.
like
True story. Maalala mo kaya?
news.
Magpahit game.
Yes. So this follows a sequence of events that from the beginning to the end. Yes, very good until the end. So next is the descriptive. Everyone read.
Focuses on the spatial relationship of people and things.
So what do you mean spatial relationships? Space. Space. Other? So this describes this describes how the things or people in relation to each other yes, how things or someone looks like or feels like in that space. It clearly describes that thing or person. So what do you think is the purpose of this descriptive text? Daniel, say what is the purpose to this, the readers?
To provide descriptions for such things like people or things. Like for example, you, your description, the information about you that needs to be given to other people, something like that.
Yes, very good, thank you. So this gives a clear picture to the reader's mind para po makasagot sila on how people or things are being positioned in that specific area. So that's all for my report, and now let's welcome Mr. Halandoni.
So, good afternoon, class. Let's proceed to my topic, which are directive and expository. So, directive text, can you read Ruben and Song?
Directive text concerns future actions of the using and therapy.
Yes, thank you. So, concerns future actions, and it states here that it often use imperative or imperative language. So, when we say imperative language, it's more like a commanding act, which tells the people or the students
what you should actually do. So some examples of directing text are manual guides. For example, when you buy a gadget, for example, laptop, phones, or anything, usually naman na sila yung guides na gihatag, di ba? On how to access this and how to access that. And another one is recipes. So when you cook, whatever food that you cook, naman na sila gihatag na recipes on what to follow in order. And also, user guides and standard operating procedures or SOP. So let's proceed to the last one, which is expository. Can you read lang? Ryan, can you read expository, please?
Expository explains and characterizes phenomena.
Yes. So when we say explain and characterize this phenomena, expository is actually giving factual information to the readers, to the public, and also to media. So one example is textbooks. So you cannot publish textbooks without once author, dapat once when you're an author, dapat ma-publish yung book, you should have a lot of credentials that hatag siya of factual information, not just nagsating ka sa internet, but it is based on credentials and for your own in your own arsenal. And some examples of expository are textbooks, encyclopedia, news articles, research articles, and so on and so forth. And that would be all for my topic. Thank you.
So good morning everyone. I am Francis Melipilio. I am the supporter of relating messages and image of different types of text reflecting different cultures as used in the educational setting. So these are our topics. First is Ryan, can you read?
What are media messages? Analyzing the text and images, cultural text, detecting bias in media, different types of text.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan. So, what are media messages? Mr. Robert, can you read first one?
Media messages contains information and ideas that are shared.
Thank you, Mr. Robert. So, second bullet, if these are not organized properly, they will become agents of misinformation, leading people to form correct judgments and images regarding the subject of the misleading media message. Third is, by critically evaluating media messages, be sure that the ideas presented are accurate, relevant, and appropriate for sharing with everyone. So as Mr. Solomino said earlier, that we need to check if that source is correct. If post is example is brand out daw karon. So we need to check that if sakto ba na siya, if legit ba na siya na post para po pag share nimo dili mga libog ang imong audience na imong ganan ma-disseminate ana na certain information. So why do we evaluate messages? So Mr. Aguirre, can you read the first bullet?
The importance of evaluating the effectiveness of the messages lies in developing and using strategic questions to identify strengths and weaknesses.
Thank you, Mr. Aguirre. So, strategies for evaluating a message. Can you read Mr. Cabwal?
To evaluate whether a message is effective, we can ask ourselves a series of questions reflecting a message's simplicity, specificity, structure, and stickiness.
Correct. Thank you, Mr. Cabwal. So, as a teacher, we need to evaluate the effectiveness of the message lies in developing using strategic questions to identify strengths and weaknesses. Para kung may kahit ang atong audience to to read certain information that we give to them. And strategies for fluid messages. So we need to check if that message is correct, precise, so that ang atong audience is makasabot sila sa atong gustong i-rely to them. So that's all for my report. May I call on Mr. Amatorio to continue.
Thank you so much, Sir Banduquillo. So, good day everyone. So, I am teacher John Chris and I will be continuing the discussion. So, now we have learned about messages. But now let us discuss more thoroughly the 4 main qualities for an effective message. So, let's start with number 1, which is simplicity. So simplicity is to ensure that messages have simplicity. And of course, we should ask this with ourselves 2 questions. So number 1 question is the purpose evident of the message? And number 2 is the message, is the core of the message clear? So when having to write messages, we really need to make it simple for our audiences to be able to know what we are relaying to them. So it is very important that the message should be very simple and we should be able to identify its purpose. Why was this message even made? We should be able to identify also what is the core of this message all about. And we should really use simple words for them to be able to know what message we are relaying to them. So that is the simplicity of the message. Number 2 is its specificity. So specificity, this refers to our choices of language and its usage. To ensure language is specific, we may also ask ourselves 3 questions. So is the language specific? Number 2 is the language concrete rather than abstract? And lastly is, does it use words that are additional that has additional meanings and could be misconstructed? So when making messages, we really need to also be careful of the language that we are using. Why? Because some languages could differ from other languages. For example, if I'm using or I'm making a message that is in Bisaya and my audience would be from the Luzon, which are Tagalog. So some words maybe, for example, let us have a good example for this. Let's have so one good example for specificity of the language that we are using in Bisaya and Tagalog. So in Bisaya, we should, let's say the word example, for example, it should be tanan. So tanan means all, but in Tagalog, that's a different meaning. So it's tanan, meaning to be together. So we should really be careful on the words that we are using when conveying our messages to our audiences. And does it use words that have the additional meanings? So you should be very careful when writing messages if that certain word has a different meaning. Or for example, I myself creating my own sentences or words, and if that person siyang pagsabot sa message is very different. So we should be be careful of that. So that's specificity. But when it comes to number 3, the structure. So these are the ideas that should be organized and easy to follow. So we can also ask ourselves, does the message have a structure? Is there a more effective way to arrange the ideas? So for me, I myself, especially when I am talking, I sometimes I sometimes do not arrange my words in structure form. That's why sometimes I get very what do you call this? Very hesitant when I talk because I don't know if what I'm talking is very clear for my audiences. So that's why we need to really have structure. So for myself of what Tito Boy said, especially in conveying messages to our audiences, especially in answering Q&As, you really need to start it strong. Start strong. And after start strong, maybe you should, from the question itself, you should adapt it with your own experiences or take it from your experiences on answering. And after answering that, always end it strong. So that's how you structure, for me, a message. So that's structure. And lastly, number 4 is its stickiness. So the message should display coherence and unity of ideas. So when we could also ask ourselves, does the idea of the message flow smoothly? So that's the question there. So I myself am perfect. So especially today, I am not able to gather up my ideas perfectly. And that's the reason why sometimes we get stuttered, sometimes our idea are very not structured, and it doesn't flow smoothly. So our audiences would think that in a different way of what we are conveying to them, and after that, maybe they'll get distracted na di na sila kasabot sa akong gipangyaw-yaw. So that's the 4 main qualities for an effective message, which is very important. So it is important to critically evaluate images used for research. Study and presentation images should be evaluated like any other sources, such as the journals, article or books, to determine their quality and reliability and appropriateness. Visual analysis is an important step in evaluating an image and understanding its meaning. So, di na ta magpataka-taka o butang na image dira, then bahala na sila. No, we should be able to identify if that message is relevant and at the same time reliable. Kaya magpataka na tagbutang og something, or we should put an image that is not exactly related to the message itself. It would be contradicting with each other. So, nung may tabo, ang atong audience would be maglibog. So that's why it is very important that as communicators on relaying messages, we should really need to evaluate first what we are saying before nga patagyaw-yaw, because our voices are a powerful tool that could shape the world. So how much more nga if sayop atong ipangyayo nila and not reliable? What would happen? So there are 3 steps of evaluating an image. So we should first identify the source. Sakto bang atong sources? Dili ba na siya sa dark web ra ba gikan, or maybe ang source ana is sayo pud ang pagama. So we should be really able to identify the source, because from its source, it's very important for us to know nga, the person that made that image is somewhat very reliable. So, ingana po siya ka-important. Number 2 is interpreting contextual information. So, when we interpret contextual information, it is really important that these informations are gathered for us to learn. So, dapat yun importante na makabalutag how to interpret things. And lastly is understanding implications. So, by understanding implications of this message, of these images, we'll be able to kanang learn more, and at the same time sa atong audiences for them to learn more po. So there you have it, guys. So that is the continuation of my discussion about the 4 main qualities of an effective message, and also the 3 steps of evaluating an image. So there you have it, everyone. And let's go on to our next discussion and reporter. Thank you and good day.